Our guests here and talk a little bit more about this, because another thing that's developed is you have Republican money pouring into races where normally Republicans might do pretty well, especially in the House races. So that's kind of interesting, given what I just said. For Americans for Prosperity, the president, Tim Phillips, is with us, and also Democratic strategist Andrew Feldman. Thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate it. Tim, let me go to you first on
Absolutely.
that. So if you look at some of these states where Republicans might ordinarily do well, and if the near-term momentum, as I tried to illustrate there, is with them, why are they spending, as Politico outlines today, so much money in races in Florida and Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia that have been Republican districts for so long? What's going on there?
Well, the party in power in Washington, D.C. normally struggles, has challenges in these midterm elections. Think back to 2010. Barack Obama lost 63 seats in the House in the majority. 2006, George W. Bush, then president, lost 30 seats, and Nancy Pelosi became speaker. Heck, even going back to Clinton in '94, he lost 54 seats. So they're smart to do that. It is a challenging environment, historically speaking, for the party in power.
Right.
It is, in fact, that's what's happening this year. And they face an electorate that doesn't like or trust Washington. They have a healthy skepticism. Get this, 5 of the last 6 federal elections have been change elections. We haven't seen that in a long time, so they're smart to do this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it does. So they're trying to kind of save that majority any way they can. Now, on the flip side of this, Andrew, what about this enthusiasm issue? Because, you know, if we were having this conversation a couple of months ago, I think it would be obvious that the enthusiasm was on the Democrat side. And it still probably is by a smaller margin, though, since the Kavanaugh hearings, this caravan story the president has pointed to, and he very well may be right as kind of driving Republican enthusiasm. Do you sense a shift in late cycle enthusiasm here? And if so, what does it mean? You don't? Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't agree with that, Connell. It's good to be with you. It's been a while, but if you look at the new USA Today poll out today, you know, when you know, likely voters are voting 51 to 43 in favor of Democrats in House districts, and I think that our momentum and the president knows that his accomplishments are not something he can campaign on. That's why he's been campaigning on this message of fear and xenophobia that we've heard a lot about recently.
So you think undecided still break Democrats?
Absolutely, especially in these districts where you're seeing Republicans put late money, because Democrats are raising money like they've never raised before, and we're competing in districts all over the country. You look at the district that was once held by Eric Cantor in Virginia 7, with Spanberger versus Bratt. We outraised Bratt by 3 times the amount of money. And so I think we're in a very good position in the House, and I think that Republicans are really in peril there.
All right, take that, Tim, before we go, because that kind of is going to be the question. Is you have these states on, you know, the Senate side is obviously far smaller, and the Senate map does favor Republicans. We'll see how it goes. But if you look at the House, and if we're right at Fox, there's 27 toss-up states, right? It's the undecideds in those states, whichever way they break. I mean, you know, is Andrew right that even with all these stories of late cycle enthusiasm for Republicans, those undecideds might still break for the Dems?
2 important points. One, without doubt, in every poll across the country on the left and right showed that during the Kavanaugh hearings, it energized the Republican and the conservative base at a higher level than it had been, which brought down the enthusiasm gap. There's no question about that.
Okay, and the second point?
You can always cherry pick one poll. The second point is that you have a small number of swing voters in these districts. The terrain in the red states, they've gotten probably a little redder over the last 2 weeks. The blue states, absolutely. I think the Democrats do have an advantage.
Can I jump in there? Look at suburban women. Look at suburban women, O'Connell.
I know. We will. By the way, I don't mean to be rude. We just have to cut you off because we have to get back with the top stories at the top of the hour, which we'll do. Good to